This is the Aftermarket Radio Network.
Welcome, everyone, to yet another episode of Diagnosing the Aftermarket A to Z. I'm Matt Fanslow, and for what we are about to see next, we must enter quietly into the realm of genius. And hear a word from our sponsor, Napa Auto Tech Training. Let Napa Auto Tech's Build-A-Tech program, like Build-A-Bear, help you turn your general technician into a moneymaker for your shop. Make them a profitable member of your team. Go to napaautotech.com for more details. I'm curious how many of you are sports fans. I know I talk a lot. I don't know, maybe not a lot. My fair share of sports references. I had Chris Jones on from Ratchet and Wrench magazine, and we talked sports. Of course, I've not the only one to have ever made such an argument that there is a lot to relate between sports and teams and auto repair or businesses, small businesses, any business, big business. If you are a sports fan, you watch ESPN, or you've really just been aware of maybe the last 2-3 years, and I'm going to reference basketball again, but we're going to go to the women's side of things. I'm sure you've heard of someone by the name of Caitlin Clark. She's a point guard who played for Iowa the last season for the women's college basketball. She took her team, led her team to the championship game, national championship game, where they did lose, but she set records. She has scored more points than any other college basketball player in history, including Pistol Pete Maravich, who I've recorded an episode about a while ago. I don't know about putting asterisks next to names in certain situations, but better yet, to bring awareness that we're not always comparing apples to oranges. And in this case, Caitlin Clark got to play 4 seasons. She also played with a 3-point line. Pete Maravich played in an era where he did not get to play as a freshman. He only played 3 years, and there was no 3-point line. And it adds up, right? It adds up. Same with LeBron James. He smashed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's scoring record with the NBA, once thought to be unbeatable. It's been eclipsed. And part of that is, one, LeBron James is a freak of nature. The other thing is the benefit of the 3-point line. It can't be ignored. So in a way, I feel like there should be an asterisk next to that. Really out of respect to Pete Maravich, that what he did was still truly amazing, considering no 3-point line, considering 3 years to play instead of 4. But other than that, that's not the whole point, or really not the point of this at all. If you've been following the Caitlin Clark drama, you have known, or I'm sure you've heard of, she is driving women's basketball viewership through the roof. Through the roof. More people watched the women's championship game, the NCAA or college basketball national championship game, the women's national championship game, than the men's. It's never happened before. Ever. Peaking around, I think it was like 25 million people watching. There's a lot of people watching who never watched a women's basketball game in their life. Had no intentions of watching a game. And I don't mean that like condescendingly. It's just they didn't. But they did. And the reason is, if you've watched her play, there's two things that seemingly really separate her from other players that kind of make her very watchable. One is how she sees the basketball court, the way she passes. Her passing is on par with like the type of passing you would see from like a Larry Bird, a Magic Johnson, Jason Kidd, and maybe you don't know many of those names. I would think almost everybody knows Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. They could see the court in ways most players just don't. And she does that. She makes passes that you're wondering, where is that ball going? And it hits a player in stride, oftentimes before they even know they're open, which has resulted in some turnovers. Not the point of the conversation. It's just this separates her. The other thing, the distance for which she shoots 3-point shots. It's very, if you will, Stephen Curry-esque, Damian Lillard. We're talking about 30 plus feet that she is firing 3-pointers. We just really didn't see that. Step back threes where she was already well behind the 3-point line, and she is hitting logo threes during the game. I don't mean during the game, last second, beat the buzzer type stuff. Within the flow of the offense on any given possession, she'll fire a logo three. Mind-boggling and fun to watch. So unselfish, shooting from long distance. And then, of course, she's a threat to drive to the basket and score. So she knows how to put the ball in the bucket or put it in someone's hands to score a bucket. So she was doing this in college. Because of that, she is the number 1 draft pick. What kind of sucks for women is they play into the playoffs or whatever for the college, and then they finish college, and within a few months, and it might be 2, I don't think it's 3, they're playing in the WNBA. There's no downtime. And she comes in highly lauded. There is a lot of expectations on her as proof of the attendance records. So to put this in perspective, most WNBA games, we'll stick to this season. Most of them hover around 8,000, which seems respectable, right? Caitlin Clark games, and I'm not talking about the ones where she's playing at home in Indiana, anywhere, on average, over 15,000. There's times where they've had to relocate to try to make room. And I don't know if it's not obligation to the viewer. It's not obligation to the attendee. It's money. The WNBA is not self-sufficient. They need money. They get funding from the NBA, the men's league, because the numbers they have are so huge. It dwarfs what the women have for numbers. And that's starting to change. I'm not saying they will eclipse the men, but man, this could be the beginning of them starting to become truly independent. And I hope many of you that are knowledgeable about this situation with Caitlin Clark know where I'm starting to head with this. There seems to be this odd phenomenon amongst many of the players, both current and past players in the WNBA, who really try to marginalize or minimize Caitlin Clark's abilities, her contributions to not just her team, but to the league. One such instance was the professional women's basketball players flew commercial. And this has been as long as they've been in existence, which, if you think about it, is really around 1992, 93. So 30 plus years flying commercial. One video showing Caitlin Clark, new on her team, a rookie on the Indiana Fever at an airport in baggage claim, being harassed or bothered. And she's very gracious, but this gets a lot of attention, fanfare, complaints. So now things have changed. Because of that, they're no longer flying commercial. This is a net benefit for everybody. And yet, she's being downplayed and left off of the Olympic team, which may have benefited her, honestly, because she finally got a break. She got, 3 weeks off, a month to recoup, to rest. But in a way, kind of a slight and a massive overlook by everyone involved, because when you have somebody that popular and you're trying to grow your sport, why on earth wouldn't you get her on center stage? And that's where this is heading. You have a bunch of current and past players who, quote unquote, love the WNBA, downplaying its biggest star. Nobody within the basketball ranks or Caitlin Clark chose her to be this popular, to be this type of a draw. The public did. Fans did. New fans did. People that never watched a women's basketball game in their lives, tuning in to see this girl in Iowa and now Indiana launching threes from well behind the three-point line, making passes that, I mean, even if you're not a fan, would start catching your attention because you see the other team never does that. Nobody on the other team ever does that. Nobody on her team does that except her. And you'd see that as being special. And it's hard to ignore a step back 30 plus foot, 33 foot, 35 foot three-pointer, especially when it's not at the buzzer. And it's cool when it's at the buzzer. She's just doing it with 3 minutes left in the second quarter. If you were to watch this, if you were to pay attention to it, even if you didn't really watch the games, you watch a few highlights and then just watch and listen to the buzz, both for her and against her, you would start wondering, what is their problem? These people that are talking ill of her, talking negatively of her, ignoring her, not crediting her with what she's bringing to the table, her performances, you would start questioning their sanity. You're supposed to love your sport. This is a chance to grow your sport, to grow the popularity. If you grow the popularity, more people come into the games. More people come into the games, more people watching the games. More people watching the games, there's going to be people that can't go to sold out stadiums, so they're going to want to watch it on TV or a streaming service, which means sponsorship opportunities, which means more money for these women. You've heard about the wage disparities, right? Many of these women are making around $100,000 a year. I believe Caitlin Clark's contract is $75,000 a year as a professional athlete. And that's not me like crying because women are underpaid. They might be underpaid, but it's not because the system's broke. It's because there's not enough revenue. See, the league has lost money every year of its existence. There's no money to give them. They get money from the NBA, the men's league, to help keep it going. So now you have a chance to become independent, increase revenue, and start paying these women like real professional athletes. And whatever that means, I don't know. Will it rival the men? Probably not. It could. It could. We have instances where that does happen, right? There are industries where women make more than men. Modeling, women models make way more than men. And others. There's others. Could this happen with basketball? I suppose it's possible. You're talking about a league that's had the likes of the Michael Jordans, the Steph Currys. Now we have Victor and Luka Doncic, like these type of players that are just unconscious physical freaks. LeBron James, of course, that can do amazing things, jumping, dunking, just crazy shots. I don't know. It doesn't matter. What matters is the women's league could expand and make more money to pay them more money and be independent. And yet you have this group, and it's not a small group, who are taking away from that. They're downplaying that. Napa Autotech training sessions are being conducted day and night in a town near you. This training caters to every level within your organization, be it a mechanical assistant, a mechanical specialist, a technology specialist, or a driver safety calibration specialist. Imagine a one-stop shop training partner in Napa Autotech that will lead your team to a path to greatness. Autotech's entry-level Build-A-Tech classes convert the untapped potential of your new hires into money-making mechanical specialists. Autotech's higher-level Tech Update classes introduce specialists to the world of ever-changing technologies, which prevents your shop from getting technologically stagnant. Remember, if you're not moving forward, you're falling behind. And, turning to the front of the store, the AutoTech Service Advisor class is an awesome way to hone your client advocate skill set, ultimately benefiting the customer through an improved vehicle repair experience. But it doesn't stop there. Imagine an electric vehicle class that takes your specialist well past the mundane, yet necessary safety topics. Well, it's here. AutoTech's EV Ready training is a week-long curriculum that takes participants through a hands-on experience involving hybrids and electric vehicles. The session kicks off with the use of PPE and proper tooling while touching on required OSHA regulations. Then, the students dive into the lab vehicles to gain knowledge of the common high-voltage components on EV and hybrid vehicles and their function. Attendees will be taken on a path exposing them to different electric vehicle manufacturers to compare component form and location. Additionally, information about Level 1 and Level 2 charging systems will be included, along with a quick look at DC to DC charging. The operation and maintenance of subsystems are explored, including the different modes of Tesla operations, and so much more. So what are you waiting for? Commit to taking your business to the next level with Napa AutoTech training. How can you not see the correlation between our profession and that? Because what is one of our marketing ploys by far too many members of our profession, regardless of position? Technician, owner, advisor, manager, you name it. Too often, what is used as a marketing ploy to win customers? Downplay the other shop. Shop B is terrible. We wouldn't hire anybody from Shop B. That's what we do. What if Shop B actually isn't that bad? Like they've made a mistake, or maybe it's just the customer's not happy. Like fundamentally, there's nothing Shop B did wrong. The customer's not happy. There's a perception versus reality thing going on. There's a social construct issue. So what do we do to capitalize on that? We gang up on Shop B or C or A, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. We gang up on them. Hop on that wagon with the customer who's perturbed, and we help them be more perturbed and hopefully look at us as that saving grace, that we're the hand that will reach down and help them. Run over to the closet, grab our superhero capes. Here we go. Meanwhile, running Shop B into the ground. How is it not the same? I get it. Caitlin Clark is a single person that gets a lot of attention. It's not quite the same from a 10,000 or 30,000 foot view. Not quite the same. You start zooming in and we're pulling away. We are running down what might be pretty decent people, pretty decent shop for our own benefit to make us look a little bit better. And what are we doing? Hurting ourselves unwittingly. Just like those women who are downplaying Caitlin Clark, they're hurting themselves. They are hurting their league. The WNBA is the automotive repair industry, maybe the independent auto repair industry. I think it's the whole thing. The whole automotive repair industry is basically the WNBA. And no, we're not talking about a single entity like a Caitlin Clark, but the competition, and we run them down. So if you would listen to what I've said, or you are aware of the drama and everything with Caitlin Clark and the WNBA, former players, one Cheryl Swoops, who is a Hall of Fame player. She is one of the best women basketball players to ever set foot on a court, talking down about Caitlin Clark and sounding ridiculous in doing so. And you have people trying to balance a respect for somebody that played the game so well, sounding ridiculous, ignoring fact. And are you ignoring fact when you are talking down about another tech or another shop? Can you categorically state with data, with evidence, that they are a bad shop, that is a bad technician, even if they did make a mistake. Now we could go into all the scenarios of, do they even know they made the mistake? Did the client go back, give them a chance? I don't know. That's where we could start going down a rabbit hole. And I'm trying not to do that. Some of you are thinking I started out in the rabbit hole talking about the WNBA. Maybe you're right. But I just find listening to it, watching it on ESPN, mind-blowing. Well, like, what in the world? And I'm not alone. There's so many other pundits beside themselves. Stephen A. Smith, Charles Barkley, Dan Patrick, on and on. Knowledgeable people, passionate about basketball, passionate about sports, cannot wrap their heads around not trying to rally around and really behind this person. That in the locker room, yeah, you're going to talk whatever. You're going to talk smack. She's a competition. You got to go squash her. But in public, it's a treat. It's a gift to have someone like her in the league. Because she is. And am I saying that you got to run around and say shot B is a gift? You know what? Maybe. How lucky are you, Mr. Client, that shop B is a good shop? Actually, we have a lot of really good shops around here. How lucky are you to be able to choose between so many really honest shops that work on vehicles, service vehicles with integrity? How lucky are you? Not a lot of people get to say that. You do. I think they would take care of you. Or I don't know that what they did was actually with any sort of ill intent. They weren't trying to take advantage of you. I don't think they actually took advantage of you. Then we start talking like other professions that we've talked about before, that I've talked about before. If there's a shop or tech that's very popular in the area, it would seem reasonable to acknowledge that. Why are they popular? Now, I must admit, I can be a little hypocritical about that. Maybe not locally, but nationally. Scotty Kilmer. Got problems with that, right? I don't know if he's really in our profession. I don't know. A lot of what he says is so wrong. We have the evidence to back it up, which I don't think is what I'm talking about. We have evidence that what he says is inaccurate. That is not talking down, trying to take away from our profession. It's still trying to prop up our profession by showing the inaccuracies and inconsistent inaccuracies. It's not like the guy has recorded hundreds of terrific videos and then has one or two that he missed the mark. That's not what's going on here. Can we back it up with evidence? If you're listening to some of these people downplaying Caitlin Clark, they can't. She's in the top 10 in scoring. She's leading the league in assists. She's setting records left and right. She's winning games. Things are falling apart if you're trying to downplay it. You cannot back it up with evidence. And when there are really popular people that are categorically good at what they do, we don't get to choose who's popular. We could learn that from the freaking WWE. Go back a few years, they tried to ram Roman Reigns down everyone's throat as the world champion, as the what we would call a babyface, the hero. It got rejected. The crowds rejected it. You don't tell us who to like. They know it. WNBA needs to figure it out. We need to figure it out. We need to, again, it doesn't have to always be just one person for the whole profession, but even on our local level, quit freaking downplaying, quit freaking running decent shops, decent members of our profession into the ground, because you're dragging yourself down with them. And anybody with any knowledge on the outside looking in is going to be watching going, you're ridiculous. You make no sense whatsoever. And you lose points that way too. So I hope that you gave me a shot here with working through that with the WNBA kind of building up this foundation for this argument. I know I've made this argument before referencing professional wrestling and Ric Flair, and I've probably referenced a great many things, but it still continues, and I'm sure it will continue. But those of you listening, I hope, can look at this for what it is and go, yeah, this is a bad long-term strategy. This is not raising up and bringing ourselves up along with it. Everybody rising together, rising tide, right? I hope you got a kick out of this. I know I got a kick out of thinking about it and recording it. If you have thoughts on this or anything else, please don't hesitate to shoot me an email at mattfonslowpodcast@gmail.com. Otherwise, I'm pretty easy to find. Social media platforms. I would like to thank our sponsor, Napa Auto Tech Training, and also thank you to the Aftermarket Radio Network. And until next time, take care.
You've been listening to Matt Fanslow, diagnosing the aftermarket A to Z on the Aftermarket Radio Network. Follow Matt on your favorite listening app. He's very interested in what you have to say. Let him know what you'd like him to cover and come on the show. Matt is all for advancing the aftermarket. Find Matt Fanslow on social media and connect or on aftermarketradionetwork.com.